Hey, welcome back friends, Techtail here, and today I'm going to be going over the best Slayer creatures that you can get as a task if you're planning on making a little bit of money. Now, a lot of these aren't actually the best Slayer experience per hour, but if you are looking for a little bit of cash, Slayer is a very good way of making some cash, so I wanted to go over the best tasks that you can prefer if you are looking at just money-making aspect. I am going to be going over 6 because there are just so many different tasks that can make you pretty good money while doing Slayer. And I had to parse it down to a certain number, and 6 ended up being the amount that I just could not take another one off the list. So let's go ahead and get right into them. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Fire Lords and Fire Ladies. Now, many people will say that these aren't the best task in the world, but once you complete River of Blood and have the augmented Sun Spear, they are absolutely insane. There are many guides out there on YouTube already for how to AFK them, because you are actually getting prayer experience, which means that you can use auras to refund as much prayer as you possibly could ever want. Because when you are using the augmented Sun Spear, you are cremating the Fire corpses, which, on top of giving you the prayer experience so that you can get infinite prayer points, it also means that you're going to be getting some fire making experience and some additional GP. Without the augmented Sun Spear, they are not the greatest, so if you haven't completed River of Blood yet, I would strongly recommend doing that before you are doing a Fire task. But they are extremely good, and on top of that, they have a very low gold requirement to actually get the maximum rate. All you need is the Sun Spear, which is 600k, can be bought over and over again for 600,000 GP, and any gear, honestly, and you should be able to get these at a decent GP per hour rate. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Creatures of the Grove. Now, I really like this task just because of how much versatility it actually has. You have the option to go for Vine Crawlers, which is a very good basic loot. A lot of the loots are worth 10 to 20,000 GP if you are just killing them on a regular basis. And you also have the option to go for a more XP oriented focus on the Moss Golems. Now, the Moss Golems are going to be relinquishing some of that basic loot, but the real reason why these are on the list is because of their rare drops, so it doesn't matter which one you are killing. The Cinderbane gloves are worth an extremely large amount of money, and the Elven Ancient Ritual Stone is worth a decent amount of money as well. Both of them are pretty rare drops on a regular basis, but when you're doing them on Slayer, it gives you more than a 3 times increase to the drop chance. So on Slayer, it actually turns out being very good money if you are able to kill these. Number 4 is Niles. Now, Niles have a little bit of versatility on how you want to kill them. I personally go for the slower option that is a little bit less intense. It means that you're only going to be making 5 to 6 million GP, but I've seen people making up to 12 to 13 million GP with a mechanized Chinchompa method. You can check the links down below. I'll link a newish guide to that. But all in all, these are very good because they make the Nihil familiar pouches with their tertiary drop. That means that you are going to be getting about 100,000 GP anytime you get this tertiary drop, and it's not that uncommon. It's like a 10% chance or something pretty high like that. That means that each one of these is going to be worth a lot of money, and on top of that, they even have some pretty good basic drops. Coming in at number 3 are going to be Lava Strikeworms. Little disclaimer here, they are on the wilderness, so please, please, please do not bring anything you're not willing to lose into the wilderness. That being said, the only reason why they are so low on this list is because of the risk involved with them. The amount of GP that you can make per hour is absolutely insane here. They have a guaranteed drop of Searing Ashes, and those Seared Ashes are 40,000 GP apiece. And on top of that, they are going to have another drop, which is probably worth 10 to sometimes even 200,000 GP on top of the 40,000 guaranteed that you get every single kill. They are absolutely insane money. You are going to be killing them with lower tiered weapons most likely. I personally just like using the Sun Spear that I was just talking about with the Fire Lords. It's a 600k weapon. If I lose it, oh well. And it kills them relatively quickly. If you are willing to risk it and you are willing to bring a noxious weapon into the wilderness, you will be getting insane profits, but it comes at an insane risk as well. And on top of everything else, they have the chance of high rolling and hitting a tier 85 weapon drop. All of these drops are worth 10 to 20 million GP, so if you get one of them, then you will be definitely making back anything you could potentially lose in the wilderness. And on task, they have double the chance of dropping, so definitely worth doing on task. I do want to add a personal favorite of mine. This is not actually on the list, this is just an honorable mention because it isn't quite as good of money as it used to be. But Edemus I personally really enjoy because at one point when Invention first came out, they were dropping money like crazy. The blood necklace shards were worth 10 million GP, and all of the crystal weapons were worth 1 million GP as well. So they were really good money. They're still pretty good money because the blood necklace shards are still worth a lot of money, and I just enjoy getting that high roll. Also, they're really close to a bank, seeing as how they're in Prifddinas. One of my personal favorites, doesn't quite make the list though. Number 2 on this list is going to be the Magister. I know, sounds a little bit weird, but the Magister actually is considered a soul devourer, so when you get a soul devourer task, you can actually kill the Magister and get that completed through just doing that boss. Now, it is a little bit strange to be considering this a money-making boss because the basic drops are actually worth less than the keys of the crossing that you have to use in order to spawn the boss. So I was debating putting this on the list just because I know that this is not a boss for people that don't have a whole lot of money, but it is extremely profitable and is a Slayer task. You can make up to like 10 million GP per hour if you are going to be slaying it for about 15 to 20 hours. You do need to make the tier 92 weapons in order to make that money, and it is a loss until you make the tier 92 weapons. But it is such good money that I wanted to add it to this list, and it's the only boss on this list. And coming out on top of this list is going to be Nightmares. These do require you to have completed the Children of Ma quest as well as unlock them with Morvaran, but if you have done both of those things, they are going to be pretty good money. A lot of people have actually made guides on how to farm these creatures because they have such good common drops. And on top of that, they also drop the rare chance of a Nightmare Gauntlet, which is worth 20-30 million GP at the point of making this guide. But the thing that they don't mention in a lot of these guides is, despite the guide saying it's like 7 million GP per hour, 6 million GP per hour, when you're on a Slayer task, the chance of getting the rare 20 to 30 million GP Nightmare Gauntlets is actually 5 times more likely. This is the largest increase to a very rare drop for any Slayer task that I know of. So you're basically going to be jacking up the rate another 1 million, 2 million GP on top of what all the guides are actually saying if you are on a Slayer task. All you have to do is be able to kill them at a decent clip and you should make some serious cash doing these. Hopefully this guide helps you out in order to make some GP while you are doing the Slayer skill. If it does, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Also subscribe to the channel so you can see all my future content, and leave a comment if you have anything to say. As always though, have a good one.